Hi, and welcome. Today we're going to walk through on how to withdraw a child and also how to reactivate a withdrawn child in KidKare. Both of these scenarios are used quite often because centers obviously have a large amount of children that come and go for various reasons throughout the year. And knowing how to do both of these within the system is a good way to keep your roster clean and your classrooms accurate for meal counts and generating reports. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to withdraw a child. And obviously, children leave for various reasons all the time. They move out of the area, or they just age out and they're not going to daycare any longer. There's a lot of movement at the end of the school year going into the summer, and then also at the end of summer going back into the following school year. So it's a good thing to know how to withdraw a child. All right, so you can withdraw either active or pending children. So we're going to go ahead and withdraw this active child, Betty Boop. And active means that we have current forms on file for this child, and the center can receive reimbursement through them for them. All right, so to withdraw a child, you want to click on their blue box, double click, and this is going to open that individual child's information screen. So you'll see at the bottom corner of the child's blue box is a button that says withdraw. So it's very visible, which is great. So you want to click on that, and then the calendar will open to the right of that. And it's going to default to the day that you are using KidKare. So unless you want to withdraw a child on today, you're going to want to adjust that date. So if you click within the box and a calendar will open. So say this child actually withdrew back in December and you just haven't gotten around to removing them from your roster. So you click the back arrow to December and pick the date that the child withdrew. Say it was Friday, December 13th, and that will adjust the date right here for you. And once you know the date is how you want it to be, you'll hit the withdraw button again. And now that child is still showing on the screen, but you can see that the button has now turned to activate rather than where it said withdraw. So this is showing that this child has been withdrawn from the active category. So if we go back up to the child list child area, and you now see there's no children in active status. So, okay, oh, you're like looking at a blank screen. You're like, well, I know they're still in my information area, in the withdrawn area, but why isn't it showing? So to turn on and off your various areas, active, pending, or withdrawn, you're going to go to your orange filters button at the top right corner of your screen. And this will pull over various selections you can make to show what you would like to see on your screen. You can do all or none of them. So right now, any boxes that are blue means those are the areas that you would like to have them show, and then the sort by is usually by last name or first name, usually last name, but you can toggle that however you'd like. All right, so we know that we just moved Betty Boop to the withdrawn category. So we're going to turn the withdraw button blue, and then she pops up because she's showing now in the withdrawn area. We toggle that back off, it'll disappear because we're not looking at that information. So you're like, okay, well, now I know I have some pending children, and I think I want to withdraw one of them. I think they're in there. So what we'll need to do is toggle on and make the pending button blue. And sure enough, there we have two children in pending status, which means that they are at the center, but we do not have any completed forms on file for them to move them up into the active category. All right, so if you don't want to see your filters button, you just click the orange button and it pushes us back to the right. So here we're like, okay, we know Johnny Smith doesn't attend the center anymore, so we might as well remove him from this area and put him in the withdrawn category to keep our roster cleaned up. So same as you did with the first child, you're going to double click on their particular blue box, and it's going to open their individual screen like before. So again, we're going to click on the withdrawn button. Now on pending children, for some reason, and we're hoping KidKare will fix this, but for right now, it's kind of glitchy. You can see how when you put your cursor in the date box and it's got a red, circle with a red slash, like no. You can't adjust the date that the KidKare chooses for you. This is for pending children only, so you have to just leave it where it is. And it's really weird. So anyway, don't worry about it. You just go ahead and hit the withdraw button again just to get them over in the withdrawn category. And then later on, if you should ever reactivate that child, you can worry about the dates at that point. So anyway, I wanted to point that out, that in any pending children, don't panic because you can't change the withdrawal date. Just go ahead and leave it as is, just so you can get them off your current roster. Okay, so there we go. So if we go back to children and the list children area, and we just have our pending category open, you can see. So now we only have one child in pending and no children in active. So if we we turn off pending and active and turn on the withdraw button, there are the two children that we withdrew. So technically, they're still within the center's data and they will live there forever. So if they should come back to the center, instead of having to re-enter all the information, we can go back in and reactivate the child and then just update the forms based on what the parent gives us. So it's really nice. So along those lines, let's go ahead and reactivate a child. So let's just say, oh, Betty Boop, we accidentally withdrew her for some reason. She does need to be back on our roster. So we're going to go ahead and again, always double click on that specific child. And you want to open their information screen. And then now we're going to go and hit the green activate button. And that's all you have to do. So now when we go back out to the child list children screen, and again, we have to turn back on now our pending button. And there's Betty Boop down in pending status. So one thing you do need to remember, if you are reactivating a child who has current enrollment and income forms on file, we do want to make sure that we get them back over to the active category. If you are working with a sponsor, the sponsor has to do this. Centers are not allowed to move a child from pending to active. So what you would need to do is contact your sponsor via email preferably, or call them and just say, hey, I reactivated Betty Boop. Can you please move her back to active? Because I believe we still have current forms on file. And if you're working through the state directly with your state and not with a sponsor, I believe you are able to reactivate, but I'm not sure. You would have to check that and see. So that's just an important factor. If we have forms on file, we don't want to leave them in pending because you won't get paid, receive any funding when you do your claim each month. Okay, so that is how you withdraw and reactivate a child in KidKare. Thanks for watching.